Hello guys, good afternoon, Dara here. So today we're going to be talking about trauma studies. I know I haven't made a video in a long while, but please forgive me. I've had so many commitments that kind of drew my attention away from this noble act, right? So today we're going to be talking about trauma studies. Essentially, what is trauma studies? Trauma studies is simply a theory that makes up for the shortcomings of psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud. What this simply means is that psychological processes or thought patterns have found a home in this theory. Sometimes when you're going through a text, you'll find out that there are some psychological happenstance that psychoanalysis doesn't really capture, you get. So trauma studies is set out to actually address those issues. Having said all that, what is trauma? Trauma comes from a Greek word which is trauma. It actually means wound. According to Sigmund Freud, he defined trauma as the wound of the mind. So picture when you were little, you were probably driving your bicycle or something and you fell on the ground and you sustained an injury. When we are talking about trauma, we're talking about the injury that occurs in the mind or the psyche of the person, or in artistic tests, the character. So trauma is simply those activities or events that are capable of altering the mind of its victims. And these events cause them to react in a certain way, especially when they are triggered. Trauma studies was propounded by two female theorists, Cathy Carrot and Shoshana Feldman, in their book Unclaimed Experience, Trauma, Narrative and History in the year 1996. It's clear that trauma studies is relatively new in literature and it's becoming quite, profound. So Cathy and Shoshana actually postulated a lot of ideas in this their groundbreaking book, as I said earlier. And one of them is that as of the time of occurrence, trauma or traumatic events are not fully understood. So they tend to come back through mental processes like reenactments, nightmares, and flashbacks. They also insisted that trauma determines how history is being narrated due to its fragmented form, right? So the way a traumatic event, especially in history, is narrated always forces us to rethink. They also accepted the fact that literature and psychoanalysis go hand in hand, like they are connected, because literature is a medium for victims of trauma to actually heal, to express themselves, while psychoanalysis is used in the analysis and the understanding of these traumatic events and processes. Another important fact is that trauma actually connects and creates a sort of bond between people from different cultural backgrounds, races, and even ideologies and beliefs. So when we're talking about trauma, we're actually looking at universal themes, that pain is pain, right? Death is death, right? There's something I like saying, and it is death is a universal experience that everyone understands. What this implies is that these people can understand themselves better because of the experiences they have gone through. For instance, if you look at the victims of Holocaust and compare them to the victims of the Biafra War in Nigeria and Holocaust in Germany, you can see that there are similarities, right? Lives are lost, people are displaced and all of that. So Shoshana was trying to tell us that trauma is a universal language. Cathy was also supporting the same stance. So we've come to the end of a conceptual discussion about trauma studies. You can do further research, you can go deep into it. Please drop your comments in the comment section and let us engage. Thank you so much for watching, and do have the best of the day. Bye.